12:01 in Edmonton. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Oil Street, presented by Boston Pizza. Tom Gazzola, Reid Wilkins with you. Hernan Thaleth getting us kicked off here on the show. Thank you, Nancito.
De nada.
That's his Spanish, but it's Espanol Spanish.
Yes.
Not Chilean Spanish, not Mexican Spanish.
It's from Spain.
It's Spanish, like Spain Spanish.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah, because the resort I went to is a lot of people from Spain.
It's a Barcelo.
It's Barcelo. Oh.
I've been to a Barcelo. Very nice.
So yeah, I had a few conversations, but I didn't talk like that. I talk normal.
Well, hang on. Tell everyone about the buffet experience and the Spanish ladies that had a question for you.
Yeah, they just asked me what that was, and I was,
how did they ask it? Muchacho.
Amigos, quesos. I was like, eso queso, which means that's cheese.
It's queso. You know what? It's the little things. I love it.
I'd love to go to Spain, though.
I would love to.
Great food,
looks
good
amazing.
wine.
History,
Soccer.
architecture, soccer,
Yeah. Spain Spanish.
running of the bulls.
I don't know if I'd do.
I would watch it and be
I would
scared for
definitely
the
go
people
watch
doing it.
Yeah. I wouldn't. No, I'm too old now.
No, but you're a runner. You and Reid are runners.
Oh, that's
Would
a
you
good
do it,
point,
Reid?
man.
Sorry, which?
The running of the bulls in
No, I'd be
Spain?
dead. No, I'd be dead. I don't do things in which my chances of perishing are at a higher than zero level.
I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way.
Like, this is why I don't skydive or bungee jump. Like, why in the hell would I want to jump out of an airplane, parachute or not? Like, explain that to me. What's the thrill of that?
It's
I could have
scary as
died, but
hell.
I had something strapped to my back.
Oh, man. Yeah, I would never do skydiving.
No.
That scares the bejesus out of
No, I'm
me.
not going to run with the bulls. Like, this bull was chasing me.
Bullfighting?
Could have gored me, but it didn't.
Ah.
You have to go to the stadium, though, after to watch it. Like when they...
Yeah.
The ending of it.
And then they
Right.
torture and kill the thing.
Yeah, it's not humane. Although it's a tradition.
You need some good paella.
I like
You like
paella.
paella, boys?
I think so.
Like
I love Spanish food.
You don't like seafood.
I just can't handle a seafood. I'm allergic to some of it. And I don't.
You like seafood,
I
Reid?
don't like it either.
Yes.
Okay. So
Generally, I don't like absolutely everything.
but you would eat a seafood paella.
I have.
Can I
yes.
get a polo
Yeah.
paella?
A bolo? What's that?
Or is it pollo?
Pollo. Oh, chicken.
Mm.
Ah. Well, because the paella traditionally brings seafood and meat, right? It'll bring like chorizo, sausage.
I love it. Yeah, that's good.
chorizo.
Burrito.
Yeah.
We're getting hungry. May we suggest the lunch menu at Boston Pizza? Jambalaya fettuccine, baked 7-cheese ravioli, creamy mushroom and spinach bake, Bandera bread, pepperoni, spicy pierogi pizza, whiskey barbecue chicken, the meteor, or some paellas. Sí, amigos. Shout out to Tony and Curtis at BP 170th. Tony was upset we were taking shots at him. What he perceived to be shots at him. Tony.
What shots did we take?
Well, we were referencing his bets last year at the golf tournament that he made in regard to David Tomaszek.
Well, his... okay. Well, we can just not talk about them then.
They were notable.
I don't know if
And
I've
fun.
ever, I don't know if I've ever specifically talked about them.
And let's not kid ourselves. Tony likes the attention.
Yeah, but okay.
Wait.
No, I don't want to be you got to be in the ballpark of sanity.
He might have been influenced by libations at
Right.
that
Well,
point.
then he shouldn't,
We've only hit him up once. At least we were doing the pre- and post-game show here in studio, myself, Belzy, and Benny. And we're like, what do we want to do for a bite to eat during the game? And we're like, do you want to do pho or fa? Then no. Do we want to go to, one of the fast food joints around here? Nah, not really. I was like, why don't we call Tony? And Tony, a man of his word, who was not working that day, set it all up and had us hooked up. It was delicious. So thank you to Tony. At least he fulfilled the bet. And we didn't take advantage
He's
of
an
it.
awesome guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't take advantage
He is
of
an
it.
Oilers fanatic.
I would say yes to that.
Yes.
Many Oilers fanatics.
Yeah, which is fine.
It's a good thing to like the Oilers. It's not always pleasant, but at least you're passionate. So text us, 780-218-9999.
Yeah, no, we like getting texts.
Yeah, we like those. And hop into the nasty chat if you're watching live over on YouTube. The oil stream presented by BP's Tom and Reid with you this afternoon. We'll do the numbers game later, but you had a great idea. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun. We're going to want audience participation as well, obviously. A couple of things have popped up, and we'll go around the hockey world. I know later on your show you're going to cover more. Obviously, you've got more time on your show to utilize to spread across the sporting world and the hockey landscape. But just a couple of things. For those keeping tabs of the Western Conference Final, no Cale Makar tonight for the Avalanche. How concerning, Reid Rick?
Concerning, but I still think the Avs are just superior.
Correct.
To the Golden Knights.
Yes.
Though, I mean, that's a guy that plays 25 minutes or whatever.
Good to quite good, maybe even excellent.
Excellent player.
Yeah.
But I still think the Avs can figure it out without him.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that's a loss for sure. Now, Mark Stone's still not playing for the Golden Knights, right?
I believe he's still
I just seen it here that he skated with the scratches, but he's not expected to play.
Yeah, that's progress, but not quite there.
Right.
Good way to describe that. I don't have a lot of faith in the Vegas Golden Knights to even do much in this series. Maybe a win. 4-1 Colorado Avalanche.
I picked Colorado to sweep them yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe that's just because, well, I know why I did it. The bracket Vegas came out of, again, not that strong.
Not that strong.
I mean, it included the Oilers, it included Vegas, it included Anaheim, and it included Utah. So, I think that was the pillow fight bracket.
Yeah.
Now, Vegas is playing well under Tortorella. I mean, they've only, I guess they just have the 4 playoff losses under Tortorella
and one
overtime loss during the regular season. But Colorado's rolling. They're deep. I mean, like Gazdic made a good point. Like Parker Kelly, I believe, 21 goals. Like he's technically on their 4th line.
Yeah,
like that's
he's a nice guy.
Pretty amazing. You see, like whenever I watch that O'Connor play, and I know he's been there by several years, I'm like, yeah, he's like a kind of a fearless, just take the puck to the net type of player. Like the Oilers could use some guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
They could even use some guys like that on their top line who played with a little more gumption. Now, and Vegas, I started calling them the miserable bastards the year they won the Stanley Cup.
They were miserable bastards.
They still have an edge. I don't know if they have that much of an edge, and Stone provides some of it, right?
Yeah, he does.
And Pietrangelo provided some of it too.
True.
Now, I know like they have Kolasar and other guys that play like that. I mean, Rasmus Anderson can play like that when he knows he has the upper hand.
Yeah,
I mean, if he's a bit of a front runner. So now Carter Hart-Net could be a wild card. I mean, he is a good goaltender.
Fair.
And he's been having a pretty good playoff, but I think he's going to have to. I think he'll be under a lot of pressure.
Duress, if you will.
Yeah. So I said Colorado in 4. I don't know if they'll sweep them. I mean, there aren't a ton of sweeps, but I still think that it'd be a big upset if Vegas won that series.
I'm not giving them much of a sniff.
And I mean, they just beat Minnesota in 5. Minnesota's better than Vegas.
Yep. Substantially.
Yeah.
IMO, as the kids say. Let us know your thoughts, 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as well. A couple of texts have come in. In regard to your comment about having a 0% chance of fatality and not doing those activities, Troll says, you shouldn't drive a car then, Reid, especially with all the crappy drivers that have moved to Alberta.
Anything could be dangerous. Yeah, I could go for a run and something could happen.
Not only the ones that have moved to Alberta, the ones that are from Alberta that are just crappy drivers. I witnessed and experienced many of them on my drive in this morning. But yes, I know.
Yeah,
I know what Troll's taking your statement to another.
No, I know. So he's joking around, but
Trolls.
Yeah, it's true.
Trolls trolling.
Anything could be potentially dangerous for
Walking be potentially dangerous.
Yeah, you never know
because of bad
I'm not much of a thrill seeker like that. I mean, I've been on even amusement. I've been on one roller coaster ride in my life. It was fine.
Mindbender?
No, Space Mountain in Disneyland.
I like Space Mountain. It's a good
But
one.
you're in the dark the whole time.
It's a great.
It's like, what is happening? Where are we?
You can go on YouTube and they do a Space Mountain
Yes,
run without the lights on.
I've seen that, yeah.
Or with the lights on, pardon me.
Or yeah, with the whatever. But
I loved Space Mountain. I thought it was awesome.
yeah, but I just found like by the end, it's like, okay, I get it. There's a turn coming up. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, stuff like that,
The
like the
music's
drop
blasting.
of doom or the big ship. I never,
did all
even
that.
when I was
It's
younger,
fun.
like I don't know. I don't
Or the
care. I
zipper.
don't feel like I'm missing anything. No, I don't need to do it. The big swing.
I like the big swing. I find it amusing.
Yeah.
Tube Socks. Hello, Tube Socks. Hello, Steven. Says, good afternoon, fellas. Have a swell show. Thank you, sir. Have a swell afternoon. Stupid Peter. Hello, Stupid Peter. Says, my two best buddies are running with the Bulls in July. They are not runners. LOL.
Yeah.
I wish
We should get them on the show when they come back.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's thrilling for the people who do it. I'm
course
just
it
saying,
is.
and I'm not against other people doing it. It's just if you ask me my opinion or feelings if I would do it,
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Right.
No judgment to people who do it. Like I know there's a lot of people who make it's like a hobby or a passion to go on crazy roller coasters or amusement park
Yes,
rides.
thrill seekers.
If you enjoy that, absolutely go do it.
J-Mo on the Nielsen show this morning said he wants to do a hot air balloon ride. I would be deathly afraid of that. I would be stuck in the corner of the basket,
Yeah, I don't know if I would like that either.
shivering, and probably pass out because I don't do heights well. So, it's that. Okay, speaking of the Golden Knights, there's some news to discuss there, and it does involve the Oilers. The NHL, as the headline says, believes Vegas' response to Cassidy inquiries in line with contract. Let me read what LeBrun put out. And Mark Lazarus had a story about it, obviously out of The Athletic. From Pierre, says, from NHL perspective, the league feels the Vegas response to date is consistent with the team's existing contractual rights as well as with established league policy. So it remains very much up to the Vegas Golden Knights if and when teams can talk to Cassidy while he's under contract. Edmonton, LA, both denied permission to speak to Bruce Cassidy thus far. I know that is to the ire of Oilers fans, obviously to the chagrin and ire of Jeff Jackson, Stan Bowman, I'm assuming Paul Coffey and Daryl Cates. But the league's saying it's kosher. It's all good, man. And then yesterday, after the fine of $100,000 and the forfeiture of a second-round pick by the Golden Knights for their actions last week in the series clinching win, not providing enough media interviews, they made a statement. Kelly McCrimmon did, basically saying, we're busy with the playoffs. We're not going to let these teams talk to Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah, when it comes to Cassidy. I think they basically kind of apologized for the media stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they said they were wrong. They clearly were. I mean,
Right.
Your fan base.
Well, and that's one of the things, like the people they're punishing are like you're punishing the reporters and the fans who don't get comments. You're not really punishing the NHL for suspending or the McNabb thing, right?
No.
That's what they were mad about?
Yeah, and that was part of it. And like I mentioned, Tortorella didn't want to wear the microphone during the game to capture what he was saying. And he's not the first. He's not the first coach to say no to that to the broadcast, obviously. But there had been instances that led to this, and then finally they're like, you know what? It's going to cost you, literally.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay the price.
I mean,
and it was upheld.
the Cassidy thing, they are within their rights.
Yes.
I just think it's obstinate and borderline unprofessional. Like you're not it's not a distraction to let a guy who's not active within your organization.
Right.
Like, hey, can we talk to him? Yeah, sure. It takes 4 seconds.
It does.
Like it doesn't affect Kelly McCrimmon's day. Like they're being difficult. They're trying to flex and strut and be like, look at us. You can't take our guy. Well, he's not your guy. You fired him.
Yeah.
And it's in line with how that organization conducts themselves. They think their poo doesn't stink. They've been that way. I mean, I don't know if they would be that way if they didn't go to the final in their first year, but they did. And
it has enabled this.
Yeah. And I mean, they have won a cup. They do generally win. They've only missed the playoff once. They're in the conference finals almost every year.
Yeah.
Well, not
5 of 9 years that they've been in the NHL.
Very good.
That is quite good.
So, that's how they want to act. I mean, maybe Cassidy's fine with it. I don't know. Like, you think he could raise a stink maybe if he wanted to really talk to somebody?
Somebody texted in earlier on the Hangout and was like, why doesn't he just quit? I don't know. Like,
I don't know what all the legalities are.
Exactly.
But I mean, what if he just went and did an interview?
But then Vegas could have
then they could actually terminate it
and have a tampering complaint against LA or Edmonton or whatever team wants to talk to him.
I guess, yeah.
Right? Like that would be a niche.
Yeah.
By these rules. You're right. Like the Golden Knights have really dug in and taken to being the heel of the NHL.
Yeah, but I don't think they see themselves that way. I don't think they see themselves as the villains. No, the bad guy never thinks he's the bad guy.
That's a good
point.
point.
They think they're justified.
Remember Thanos?
Yeah,
some people agreed with Thanos.
Yeah. Great movie, great character.
Great line of
like that scene where he has the vision with young Gamora.
Yeah.
And he was like, she's like, what did it cost you? And he's like, everything. Like, that was such a great moment for that character where it's like, well, yeah, I killed half the galaxy, but I'm the one who had to suffer. Yeah. Like, I'm the one who really has the hardship here. Like, that was, that's what the Golden Knights are like.
Yes, they are like Thanos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I am looking forward to Doomsday, by the way, and Brand New Day with
yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, just good Thanos reference. Anyway, so keep those texts coming in 780-218-9999. I have a bunch that I want to get to.
Yeah, please do.
Via the nasty chat. I'm sorry. I will. Let's go to Deskra. Hello, Deskra. Says Vegas has stated they won't do anything with Cassidy while they are in the playoffs. Let them finish and then we can be outraged. Deskra. Logical and something that eludes oil country at times. Not everybody.
Well, I don't know if people are outraged.
There is some outrage.
I just think it's
the loud minority.
It's out of line with what usually happens in the
that's
NHL,
fair.
I think.
Absolutely. JFNB says the Oilers are going to muddle this up so badly. Get your popcorn ready. Who's to say they haven't already?
Yeah, well, that's very possible. We could be in the process of that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, if they, we've talked about it. I know Rashog was on this morning with the guys, too, saying, maybe they thought, okay, it's going to be Cassidy or Knoblauch, and then the Cassidy stuff became public. And then Knoblauch was like, what's going on? Like, do you want me to work or not? And then they're like, well, okay, I guess we'll fire you. Like, who knows?
Well, they basically backed themselves into this corner that they are in now in this situation. It's all on how they've handled this. Poorly, for lack of a better term. Pardon me. Barbershop Window getting in there says Oilers need a young, new up-and-comer coach, the next John Cooper. None of these old heads, young coaches with Oilers equals 1 Western Conference final, 2 Stanley Cup finals. Oilers couldn't even make the playoffs with veteran coaches. McClellan got them to the playoffs 1 out of 4 years. Tip technically got them to the playoffs.
Well, yeah, they didn't miss the playoffs with Tippett.
No, they made the playoffs. The bubble year is the technical part I'm talking about. That counts as Stanley Cup playoffs. I know some people are like, that's not playoffs. The league counts it as playoffs, so go by their...
Well, and they were like a point away from being one of the bye teams, weren't they?
They were fighting with the Golden Knights
in the little mini round
for the division.
Seeding.
Yeah, and then they pooched it against Chicago. And then, they were second the next year in the North Division.
Yep.
Lost to Winnipeg in a crazy tight series. 2022 was a nice run to the conference final. 23, tough loss to the Golden Knights. And then the last 2 years before this one, Stanley Cup finalists. Let's go to Barbershop Window again. When Vegas comes to Edmonton, Oilers should shut down the visiting lockers, say there's a gas leak, and make them dress in the community arena. That would be investigated, but I understand your sentiment and where it's coming from. Barbershop Window. What else? There's a lot of texts that have come in. JFB. Yes, they've already muddled it up, Mr. Gazzola. Thank you. Yes, they have. Okay, Timber Woodsman says, is there any chance Bowman and Jackson get fired? And Timberwoodsman adds, please, with the praying emoji. Reid, I'll pass
Well, I
that
think
to
we're
you.
past that already, aren't
I
we?
think so, yeah.
I mean, they're in the process of hiring the coach.
So that means, yeah.
I mean, I don't see that happening now. I mean, Bowman's made the decision.
Should they have? I think there's an argument
I think
there
you
to
can make
be
that
made.
argument. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big. Jay and I were talking about it yesterday. I think the Oilers have to hire a coach with considerable NHL experience. You know, I was going through the games coached by Laviolette, Berube, and Cassidy. I know there are other names out there. But how do you McDavid and Draisaitl coming out and saying we've taken a step backwards. They took shots at the coaching that, yes, were bundled into other comments or were complimentary towards other coaches.
Yes.
So how do you, how do they hire the next Kris Knoblauch or Dan Muse, for example? Is that Muse's first name?
That is
guy?
his first name, absolutely.
You know, how do you sell that to the players and to the fan base at this point?
Yeah.
You know, do you not have to say, okay, here's this guy's coached 1,200 NHL games. He's been to this many Cup finals. This is his points percentage. This is how his teams play. You know, how do you want, especially if there's this ticking clock with McDavid, how do you say, okay, Connor, hey, this coach he's gonna grow, you know? Think about what a great coach he'll be in 3 years, you know?
Don't have that
You don't
time.
even get that.
You don't have that
Coaches
time.
usually don't last that long anyway. The guy that comes in is going to get a 3-year contract. He may or may not last that long, and then he will be gone.
If I had the board up,
Even
it
if
would
he
be
wins,
ding.
quite frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, DeBoer, for example, won in Dallas. They went to the conference final 3 years in a row.
Correct.
But then when it was done, it was done. He takes shots at Ottinger, and he's just like, yeah, I'm out. And the team's like, yeah, you're out. That's it.
I wondered about that if he was just like, screw it. I'm going to say how I feel because I know I'm toast here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think some of those veteran coaches also know it's a 3-year, maybe 4.
Don't buy a house,
Yeah.
which Knoblauch did not do. And I don't blame him. All right. I'm going to go to KBO Devereaux. A couple of texts in the nasty chat from KBO Devereaux. Hiring Babcock would fit this organization so well, an organization that defies any reasoning with their roster build and moves. Hiring Babs would trump them all and would ensure the McDavid Draisaitl era is over. Babcock got his second chance with Columbus and couldn't even make it out of camp. Bowman goes, "Yup, that's my guy." KBO Devereaux, thanks for the text via the nasty chat. I like the sarcasm there because I believe it was suggested on another program. That maybe that's the guy to go after, which I think is ridiculous considering I believe it was McDavid and Draisaitl and some of the Oilers leadership at the time of the search for a new coach a few years ago said, no thanks, when Mike Babcock's name was brought up by Bob Nicholson to the leadership group.
Yeah, I don't. He might be finished.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the Columbus thing? Was that 3 years ago already?
3 years? 3 years? Yeah.
And I think he'd been out from the Leafs for 3 years by then. I mean, yeah, he hasn't coached in the NHL since 1920. 2019, He coached 23 games, went 9-10-4.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I'd be surprised if that happened.
Okay, there's a couple more nasty shots that have come in since we brought this up. 83 Runner says, I can't believe Babcock's name is starting to resurface again. Impulse to Adrenaline replies, anyone who thinks Babcock is the coach for this team has zero IQ. A bit harsh of a statement there, but when I caught wind of someone bringing up Babcock's name, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, are we just in off-season mode or are we trying to sell a stupid idea to the fan base?
For which one?
Babcock.
Yeah, I don't. I'd be really. Well, I guess maybe I shouldn't be surprised by anything, but I'd be surprised at that.
Just it sounds like off-season fodder to me, and quite frankly, I don't think it would be good here.
I mean, really, I got to say this.
In my opinion,
I'd have a lot of time for Laviolette. Now, again,
why?
it's probably
I know you and I have talked about this, but why?
Okay, it's probably a 3-year commitment, right? and he knows that it's just 3 years. The team knows it's just 3 years.
Touche.
But usually his teams are successful in one of his first 2 years. So Carolina, he wins the cup in his second year.
Yep.
Philadelphia, wasn't a great team. He takes over about a third of the way into the season, loses the cup final.
With Michael Layton in goal.
Yeah. I guess Nashville, they went to the cup final in the third year.
Yeah.
Washington, guess wasn't great there. New first year with the Rangers, goes to the conference finals. Like they had 55 wins in 23-24. And then they missed the playoffs the second year. Like if you want a quick burst for a couple of years while you have Connor and Leon together, and you have these questions about Connor's future, like I wonder if Laviolette is the guy to come in and have that spark. You know, I remember seeing a Nashville practice. Now, again, it's just one. And I remember thinking, like, man, this is like an organized, crisp practice. Like when they were skating in Edmonton, they were here, I think, the day before a game, and yeah, I mean, he keeps getting hired, right? So he's got a decent reputation. He'd be interesting to me, even more so than Cassidy, because like we've heard about how sour it was going in Vegas.
It's very bad.
Now maybe you get a quick burst from Cassidy too, but Laviolette's an interesting name to me. DeBoer might have been the most interesting, but he's been snapped up.
And it's funny because like these names that we're discussing right now, Cassidy, Laviolette, DeBoer, I know Berube's name's in the mix, but especially Cassidy and DeBoer. And earlier in the season, when DeBoer's name kept coming up from some fans and others and pundits, I'm sitting there going, why is he the right guy? Didn't everybody in general credit Kris Knoblauch and the Oilers for out-coaching Bruce Cassidy and Pete DeBoer in super critical moments in the postseason?
Well, this is the fascinating thing about talking about the Oilers of the last couple of years. What was the effect of Gulutzan?
As we're learning, deeper than we initially thought.
Against Dallas, especially the first time they played them, I remember them making some tactical adjustments against Dallas's forecheck. Breaking out the puck. Remember they got a couple goals off, like Ekholm just went back and slapped it all the way around. Like because they knew how Dallas was coming in.
They were rimming pucks like crazy.
They wheeled it around to get away from Dallas's pressure, and it worked. Yeah, it's weird, Tom. And like I even brought it up after last year's Cup final when they lost, that they had to look at the coaching because of what McDavid said of them trying to do the same thing over and over again, and how that series just tilted in Florida's favor after game 2, you know?
Yeah, I thought Florida had just a straight up better roster and healthier too. But, you know, tactics are important. Sometimes they mitigate skill and depth and all that. Timberwoodsman texting and says, Bowman will hire Babcock, sign him for 4 years and buy him a condo. Great text. Rosebud getting in there says, aren't you having a coaches show with the Elks? I thought I heard you announce that. Rosebud, yes.
Yes, the Mark Killam show will be every Tuesday at 5 p.m. during the CFL regular season. So it will be part of my show with Jay Milne.
That is correct.
Tuesdays from 5 to 5:30. So it'll be every Tuesday during the regular season. I'm not sure how we're going to work some of the bye weeks, and I think that after Labor Day it may get moved to a Wednesday.
You'll tap dance around
But yes, that is true.
Do you think Mark Killam has a radio voice like this for his show?
No, I think he'll talk normal.
No, he'll talk normal. He's pretty straight up. I'm looking forward to that show, by the way. The show within the show.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Yeah, and you talk to Mark, and you're like, oh, looking forward to having you.
Yeah, well, and hopefully, you know, there's more wins to talk about this year. I mean, they gotta get out of the gate early.
They do. Mark Killam show, Tuesdays 5:30 or 5.
Tuesdays at 5.
5. That's right.
Once we get into the regular season.
Yeah. Which is coming up in 2 weeks. Man, football season is going to be great. Bones getting in there saying, screw it. Give Babcock another shot. Bones, you're smarter than that, unless you're being facetious.
You might be joking. I don't know.
I think Bones knows
But some
better.
people, I mean, Babcock obviously has a great record.
Yeah.
You just wonder if maybe it's things have, his approach is no longer one that is.
In line.
And he made a really bad judgment call with the phone thing.
That was dumb.
And I know there's a little bit of maybe I can't remember the whole thing, but like that's not a good wasn't a good call.
No. Here's a conversation that I had with Joaquin yesterday on Two Guys and a Goalie, and I'm curious to know your thoughts because we're obviously this is going to be a conversation that dominates a lot of the discussion in sports talk around this part of the world for pretty much until a coaching decision is made, I would think. Some people were saying absolutely not to Craig Berube and the fact that the Oilers are going to interview him. And then there were people saying Craig Berube's style does not mesh with this Oilers team. It is not a good fit. So I asked Joaquin, and I'm not disagreeing with the people that have that sentiment and think that his style doesn't mesh well with this crop of Oilers, but I said, isn't the mark of a elite level coach an ability to adapt your style to the type of team and players you possess?
Yes. But is that also why it's hard to coach the Oilers? Because you realize Connor and Leon get the puck into the offensive zone every time they have it. So they have to play 25 minutes a game.
Every coach
has been criticized for playing them too much.
Yeah.
Every single coach. And the new coach at some point, probably in the first 10 games of the season, you'll be on after the game and people will be like, why do you play Connor and Leon so much?
Yep.
I mean, this is not going to go away. So you come to the Oilers and it's like, okay, I have to coach to this team's strengths. And then you get into it and you realize our biggest strength is Connor and Leon, so they got to play all the time. I mean, I know Knoblauch got roasted when he was asked about the team identity. And he said, well, the team identity is Connor and Leon, which wasn't a great answer. I mean, you probably shouldn't have said that because your identity shouldn't just be, well, we have two really good players who just go, but that's going to be the challenge for the new coach. And again, with a roster that we're not probably still going to be sure about by the time we get to the start of the season.
Maybe Knoblauch, when he said that, was at wit's end. Or he was just having
that was at the
of
start of last year, though, wasn't it? That wasn't during this season. I think that was early last year or in training camp last year.
And he's not wrong for saying that because it is, I think, pretty true.
Like maybe what he kind of meant was, I didn't know we were going to talk about this. Otherwise, I would have gone and found the clip. Maybe some of what he meant was like we have two great players who can set a tone for us.
Right.
Like if hypothetically, like if Bednar was asked about the team identity and he said, well, luckily we have three guys, let's say he said Landeskog, McKinnon, and Makar, who come in and set the tone, so I can rely on those guys for our identity. Like as a coach, I can trust those guys. Maybe that's what he meant. But yeah, he kind of made it sound like, well, I just throw those two guys out on the ice and then hope we win.
The optics of that is not good. I'm just looking at the nasty chat here. Why is Mac T's name coming up?
I don't think Mac T is going to be the coach. I don't think he would want to be anymore.
No, I just, and I've said it multiple times, but somebody, 83 Runner brought up Mac T's name. I don't know if somebody else did too, but remember before they brought in Coffey, formally, there was discussion about Mac T coming back potentially.
Oh yeah, but in what capacity?
Hang on, that's the thing exactly. Mac T, this is where the rumors get silly sometimes, and it happens in every market. Trust me, it does. It's not just unique to Edmonton and Northern Alberta. But to those who brought up Craig McTavish as coming back to the Oilers, behind the bench or whatever capacity, Mac T had no interest whatsoever. When that rumor was coming up, he was literally driving to Palm Desert.
Right.
I ran into Sean, his son, who's a good buddy of mine. He's like, do you hear this stupidity about my dad coming back behind the bench? He's like, do people not realize he has zero interest? He's just enjoying his life now. Why would Mac T want to get hired by Cates again, only to be fired by Cates for a third time?
Right.
And I think we collectively forget stuff like that.
Right.
it can sometimes these ideas that float around and get legs and turn into, discussions like, guys, let's take a step back. Let's look at this. Mac's old. Mac's probably done coaching. He likes doing the TV stuff, and he likes being in warm weather during the deep winters. He doesn't need the stress of dealing with all the BS that he's already dealt with for 30 years, only to get fired again for a third time by this owner.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just 83. I just saw you bring up Mac T's name again, and it's just to reiterate, like, no, that's a bad rumor. Whoever brought that up is just trying to stir it up or suck you into a conversation to eat time up on a show.
Right.
It's okay. Anyway, that's beside the point. Anyway, it's the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. Tom and Reid with you. You can text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat like many of you are. We're having a good debate, conversation, all that stuff. We're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. And of course, all month long, in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation, $1 from every Ben's favorite meal or individual collector's cup sold will be donated to the Ben Stelter Foundation at participating locations in Northern Alberta and Edmonton. We were at the 170th Street location last week. Big thank you to Kyle Furby and the staff there for having us from 6 to 6. Reid, you and Jay did your show from there. I did a couple shows from there. It was awesome. Lots of listeners came and checked it out and participated. And then May 27th, which is Ben's birthday, all proceeds, I believe, are going towards the Ben Stelter Foundation.
Yep.
That's going to be Ben's Day. And if, like I said, like if you've ever met Mike and Leah, they're out and about in oil country, always taking part in events, golf tournaments, charity events, anything. They're very prevalent and prominent when it comes to fundraising for good causes, obviously, like the Ben Stelter Foundation. And then you talk to them and you're just like, well, these are a couple of sweethearts that lost one of their children. So, yeah, a great cause, and well done, Popeyes, for hopping on board. And we're happy to partner up and bring some light to it as well. So keep in mind this month, $1 from every Ben's favorite meal or individual collector's cup will go to the Ben Stelter Foundation. And then May 27th is Ben's Day. Shout out to Popeyes for doing that. Shout out to them for sponsoring our studio here on the Oil Stream. All right. We're going to have to get to the numbers game. I see a lot of nasty chats coming in. But we're going to get to the numbers game. And you brought up an interesting numbers game. And I liked it. It was a great idea. And did you say it kind of as a joke? Or did you
No, I never joke around.
Yeah, you do. You always joke around. I've known you for like
Not with
15
Oilers
years.
topics. You can't joke about that.
Yes, you can.
People get too upset.
Yeah, they do get upset, but sometimes it's fun.
No, this was not a joke. I did not mean this as a joke.
Okay.
If I'm thinking about what I
damn right, it's written right here.
Okay.
You and I were in the boardroom together.
Oh yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah. Play along. This is going to be fun. It could create drama, angst, stress, all of the above. Maybe it'll bring pleasure. I don't know. But the numbers game brought to you by Play Alberta, our partners over at Play Alberta, presenting sponsor of Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're going to sprinkle maybe on some NBA, maybe on some NHL action, baseball, whatever you do, use your game sense. And a shout out to Jordan and the crew over at Play Alberta. The numbers game today. Rank the coaches the Oilers have had during the McDavid era, worst to best.
Okay, so that's 5 coaches.
Plus, I'm throwing in a 6th, which is future coach / wild card.
Well, he doesn't have a record.
That's why it's kind of it's a wild card.
Okay.
Are you cool with that, or do you want to
No, that's
eliminate
fine.
it?
Do whatever you want.
All right. So worst to best. Reid,
Okay.
Who's your number 6?
Well,
Is it going to be future?
it's Ken Hitchcock.
Okay.
Because
Hitch.
he only coached 62 games. I mean, they weren't great. I mean, this is kind of not a shot against Hitch, but like, how can you put him any higher? They weren't a great team. They weren't going anywhere. I don't think he I think he kind of knew he wasn't going to be back. I think he was maybe trying to coach a style that they weren't used to playing. You know, like always up the boards, like never put the puck in the middle of the ice. That's too dangerous.
Right.
You know, and that was kind of a very low energy sort of season after McClellan got fired and Hitchcock took over. So
Yeah.
I'll put him at number 6.
That's fair. And Hitch was at the end of his coaching tenure, obviously, and I think he did it as a favor to probably Bob Nicholson. One thing I found bizarre or kind of like shook my head at was Hitch thinking he could fix Jesse Puljujärvi and immediately called him up after Puljujärvi had just been sent down.
Right, yeah.
That was part of the debacle.
Well, he tried.
He tried, but it was... And I don't know if it was too far gone for Puljujärvi at that point already.
Right.
Or what, but it was a weird one where I was told, like, oh, yeah, Hitch said, call him up, I'll fix him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, turned him into a great Swiss League player and international stage player.
Who's your number 6?
My number 6, you know what? You're probably right, just because of everything we outlined. Probably Ken Hitchcock. I mean, it wasn't a great run. It was a short run. I like the idea of future coach / wildcard too. I'm tantalized by it.
Okay.
All right, let us know your thoughts. In the McDavid era only, rank the coaches the Oilers have had during the McDavid era. Worst to best. And that includes Ken Hitchcock, and then I threw in the wildcard / future coach option. So there's 6. All right, Reid, who's number 5 on your list?
I'm putting Woodcroft there.
Okay.
And the reason I'm putting him there is because when it went bad under Woody, it went really bad.
Yeah.
I think that they had the team to be like, I think the 2023 team gets overlooked. Like that team might have been better than the team that lost to Florida the second time.
If that team won against Vegas, it was winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think that, you know, a lot of talk was during that series about the man-to-man and the zone.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come out of the next season and he wants to put Nurse and Bouchard together. And then, you know, they start 3-9-1 or whatever it was, and he gets fired.
Yeah.
And I think that they knew they had a good team. But, I mean, all training camp, he talked about game 83.
Yeah.
I don't think they were focused on the regular season at all. You know, he got thrown out of that game in Vancouver. You know, like people like wanted Knoblauch to show more emotion. I think Woody maybe almost took it too far.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Woodcroft did some good things. You know, I know when he replaced Tippett, it went pretty well. They beat Calgary. But I think when it went wrong under Woodcroft, it went really wrong. So that's why I'm putting him second last.
That's fine. And it's interesting to see his name popping up again. Like he's a hot item. Maybe he is. I'll go Tip on this one. And I just want to be a little bit different than you. I'm not like, for me, Woodcroft, he was like, he flashed brilliance early and then it faded just as quickly.
Yep.
Maybe the players got tired of being inundated with information and adding elements and wrinkles to the game when they weren't ready to as a team. And maybe it was too much too early in the 23-24 season. But I'll go with Tip for number 5. To be different, to switch it up a little bit. I'll make my cases against Tip. I don't think he was the right coach for the Oilers at the time. He was a good veteran voice. He was already working for Seattle when the Oilers went and plucked him. And to me, it kind of felt like this scenario that's playing out to a certain extent, where it's like, well, who's the next most veteran guy that can come in and get these guys to play the right way?
Right.
And they're just like, oh, Dave Tippett. And we'll talk to Seattle and pluck him away from his advisory role.
Yeah.
So I think the timing of Tip wasn't good, and I don't think he was the right type of coach for the Oilers at the time. But he did use what Kenny Holland gave him, and that was serviceable players. Managed to get second in the division, in the North Division, so 2021. They screwed up in the bubble playoffs, obviously. Some of that's not his fault. But I just think wrong coach at the wrong time. If I'm going to make a case for him being 5th ahead of Jay Woodcroft.
Well, I'll have Tippett 4th.
Okay.
And I actually think Tippett did some good things.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I think he, as he came on, some of the depth players got underutilized. I mean, Derek Ryan basically took a blatant shot at Tip a few weeks before Tip got fired about role players not knowing their roles. I think I do, and like Tippett had that reputation of being a defensive coach. Like he really wasn't.
And he said that his first day.
He said that
as coach.
McDavid had some good seasons under him. Like Draisaitl won the Hart Trophy under Tippett, right? And again, that team in 2019-2020 was pretty good.
Yeah,
but they weren't engaged in that bubble series against Chicago at all.
There's so many.
It's too bad.
factors.
I mean, I don't know if that team would have won the cup, but maybe they could have done a little more damage in the playoffs. But then, Tippett, when it kind of started going wrong, he couldn't get them back on track, and probably some of the ice time usage and stuff like that. And then I think when Tip was dismissed, he was probably ready to go. I mean, he hasn't shown any interest in coaching again since then, right?
Right.
But I think that his tenure was okay. I mean, they had some good runs under him, but ultimately, I'll put him 4th out of the 6.
Yeah. So this is where I go with Woodcroft. Looked good for a while, soured very quickly, and then that 23-24 season, obviously a horrific start. And I mean, there are some people, and recently have said, I think they would have pulled themselves out of that situation, even with Jay Woodcroft. And maybe, but something had to give, and they decided to make it Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson taking the fall for a 3-9-3 start. It was 2-9-3 after that loss to San Jose. They went and finished that road trip.
Yeah.
Blanked Seattle.
Yeah.
And then it was.
And then he got fired. Yeah.
See you later, Jay Woodcroft. Who's kind of rigid in his ways was Dave Tippett, too. I should have said that. All right, number 3, Reid. This is, by the way, rank the coaches the Oilers have had during the McDavid era. It's not best. It's just rank the best. Or rank the coaches the Oilers have had. It's totally subjective. So there's really no right or no wrong. Completely subjective.
Well, then 3rd, I'll put Knoblauch. I mean, 31 playoff wins. They did go to the Cup final twice. Oddly enough, Woodcroft has the best regular season points percentage of all the coaches.
Yeah, he does.
Even though Knoblauch had that 16-game winning streak. But, I mean, you can't ignore Knoblauch's playoff success. And whenever you bring this up, it's like, well, it wasn't him, Reid. It wasn't him. Well, he was there, though. I mean, even if you don't say he was responsible for it or led them to 2 Cup finals, he was still the coach for it.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to blame the coach for stuff when it goes bad, you have to give credit when it's going good. So I'll have Knoblauch number 3.
Okay, this is where I'm going to use the future coach / wild card, because we have no clue how this is going to go. We don't know if they're going to land Cassidy. I'm assuming they probably will. To what success? I think in large part will have to do with Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson adding the right pieces to elevate this group, and then added to the fact that having a healthy team, especially your star players, is going to be a big boost. So I'll go future coach / wild card for my number 3.
All right.
Who's number 2?
And I'll go the future coach / wild card number 2, which
You're
is kind
optimistic.
of unfair to Knoblauch, but I guess I'll be optimistic that can be somebody who can set a good tone and maybe build a foundation during the regular season, which apparently Knoblauch didn't do, if you believe the players and the GM.
I backed myself into a corner here. Nope. I'll go Knoblauch as well. Young coach.
You have Knoblauch 2. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put Knoblauch 2.
Right, and I have the future coach 2. Okay.
Yeah, you have future coach / wild card 2. Knoblauch, I mean, the results are outstanding. 2 Stanley Cup finals. Yes, a Game 7 loss, then a Game 6 loss, and then this year was tough. Was he perfect? Definitely not. But he did get the results at the end of the day. It was him. So I'll give him credit for that. Although, he wasn't perfect by any means. I think he was given just an absolute terrible. They put him into a tough spot. I'm just going to put it like that. So right. I'll put Knoblauch too. All right, number 1 for you.
Well, McLellan.
Yeah.
McLellan is an excellent coach. I think he helped them end the playoff drought, probably maybe even quicker than they thought. And he taught a lot of them how to actually play NHL hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, you look back at some of his earlier practices, it was like, wow, it seems pretty simple what he's teaching them.
Yep.
But like even stuff like
very stern,
breaking out, like breakouts, like having having options where to pass the puck. And I think McLellan should get a good amount of credit for inspiring Draisaitl.
Yep.
I think he should get a good amount of credit for rounding out Nugent Hopkins' game. Though I know Nuge can still be a frustrating player, especially 5-on-5. I still think that he helped them advance there. I think there was a professionalism around Todd.
Mm-hmm.
I think he used a lot of phrases that were interesting. Like I love that. Like you got to play inside a guy's equipment.
Always
like
love
think of trying to take the puck off a guy, and that's in your head. I got to get in his equipment to get the puck away from him. So I put Todd number 1.
I also enjoyed when he said, you got to know when to give a guy a kick and you got to know when to put your arm around him.
Yeah.
He got a raw deal as well as Knoblauch did. McLellan flew with the team for the road trip. They were in San Jose. He met with Peter Chiarelli at the hotel lobby bar for a drink and asked Peter, "You're not firing me, are you?" Was told no, and then the next day was dismissed. I think that is such Bush League tactics. And it was at a time when Peter was scrambling.
Yeah, he had to deal.
McLellan
had to deal with roster moves that weren't great.
Yeah. I think you outlined a lot of the positives that Todd McLellan brought. I have a lot of respect for him. Straight up dude. Not to say that the other guys aren't. But I think he was the best coach of this lot.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right. That was fun. It was the numbers game brought to you by Play Alberta. It was ranked the coaches the Oilers have had during the McDavid era, worst to best. Reid had Hitch, then Woodcroft at 5, Tippett at 4, Knoblauch at 3, the future coach / wildcard at 2. That's a bit of a nuance I threw in there. And then McLellan 1. I had Hitchcock, Tippett, Woodcroft, future coach / wildcard at 3, Knoblauch at 2, McLellan at 1. I saw some people playing along earlier. Where are those? Here, Jeremy had Woody 1, McLellan 2, Knoblauch 3, Tip 4, Wildcard 5, 6 for Hitch. 83 runner had Hitchcock, McLellan, Tippett, Woody, Knoblauch.
Knoblauch last? Or which order was that in? Well, that was from 5 to 1?
I think that was 1 to 5, 83 runner. Let me know. Okay. But I'm just trying to read these off in the last couple of minutes here because we got to get out. But it was just a fun exercise and a great idea by you. Haji says Hitch 5, didn't even include the wild card. Hitch 5, Woody 4, Tippett 3, Knoblauch 2, McLellan 1.
Well, that's what I had if you leave out the wild card.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in there as someone. Reid, great show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for all your contributions. I look forward to the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne at 3 p.m. Koob, who's coming up next on the EST Afternoons?
Yeah, busy show on tap. We'll connect with Ryan Wallace, host of VGK Insider, was supposed to join us yesterday, but was checking in today. Of course, it's Game 1, Avalanche, Golden Knights. We'll dive into the Kelly McCrimmon presser as well as he addressed all of the controversies surrounding the Golden Knights franchise. And, of course, dive more into the game. We got Hernan's World as well. The Screw It, Let's Do It parlay. It's Goodwill Wednesday. Yeah. And Tim Mulroney in the second hour will be stopping by to tee up the Canadian GP.
Tim. He's awesome.
The GOAT.
Okay. Yeah, the GOAT of F1 and all racing in and around North America and beyond, obviously, with F1. That's going to do it for the Oil Stream, presented by Boston Pizza. For Reid, I'm Tom, saying thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Keep it locked on EST. EST Afternoons coming up next with Hernan, Joaquin, and Ice Cube. Ciao for now.